Shmuel, bit of Petah Tikva, bit of Ramat Gan, bit of Tel Aviv, and in the maternity, the entire country, because everybody wants to come here to have their baby, because we have the most gorgeous, beautiful babies in the country. I can tell you because I've had grandchildren here, so I can be...
This is this building.
This is the one.
How many square meters is this building?
Brilliant question. It's about, I have no idea, but I know we have 280 beds.
280 beds. And you have all departments here?
All departments we need in order to serve the local community. We're not going to build something that Tel HaShomer or Ichilov Benson has, like brain surgery, where we're going to use it once or twice a year. It's a waste of resources. We'll transfer them to there. But everything else, dialysis, internal medicine, emergency room, pediatrics, maternity, everything else, as a community hospital, we're very proud of having everything that the local community needs.
In this building?
Okay, the two other pieces of the campus, this building is going to be a cardiology unit, full cardiology with intensive care, etc., etc. This is...
That's just for my cousin. Okay. He is the CEO of the hospital. His name is Shlomo Rothschild, and the ambassador met him, you know, when we had a session.
Right.
Yes.
How are you?
He then extended the invitation, and today we are fulfilling the ambassador's promise.
So until now, I was the host. Now he's the host.
He's always the host.
Okay, and just one more word. So this is the cardiology department. We'll see it upstairs from the top. And the building behind, which you can hardly see, is a brand new mental health center, which we'll talk about a bit later on. But these are the three buildings within the campus, and now we'll have to go inside to see something where it's not so hot.
Great.
Okay. Dr. Landau, she's the chair lady of our local committee in London, and the husband, Martin Landau.
Hello.
You are based in London?
Based in London.
You are based which area?
I live in Ellsbury.
So let's go inside, out of the sun. I mean, you must be used to
That's a mixed message.
It is a very
But when people come, they're really very impressed. And because it's something what we're doing for operating theatres, emergency room, general, and all the demote is
what?
Demote in English is
Imaging.
Thank you.
Imaging.
Which means catheterization unit, CT, X-ray, fluoroscopy works, including a brand new MRI that we just received 3 months ago. So it's because you're here. Since you're here, all this has happened.
But also tell me only one thing. What surgeries before?
All general surgeries. All orthopedic, general, gynecology.
מטופל 205.
No.
לעמדה 1.
Globally, yes. Globally, we do. Absolutely. Yeah, we have gastro, a very big gastro unit.
A baby, but for adults.
Adults also, yes, of course.
Gastroenterologist.
Gastro, absolutely, yes. We have a very good
Hepatologist.
Again, the things that we're only going to be seeing a dozen a month or something, it's not worth the resources. For that, we have the major centres around us. What we are doing is delivering the services that the community really needs.
I suppose the rest is the things we don't do yet, like ophthalmology, which is something we like increasing.
Ophthalmology, oncology, these are a big part of our 5-year development plan, which we will be developing as we go. Ophthalmology, eyes. Right.
Oncology really needs to be in specialist centres for that, to get them on with all the research and all the development. But you can do outside.
I spoke last night to the director of King's College, Professor Julie. King's College is only liver. Only liver.
That's their big specialist centre.
Yeah. One centre.
That's right.
Only liver.
Hi.
Hello.
Dr. Lessing, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for having us.
Hi, shalom. Okay, so Professor Lessing, can we now have a little look inside to see what we're doing? Okay. Welcome to Bnei Brak.
Thank you for having us.
Did you see such a neighborhood before? It's interesting.
I've visited once or twice.
It's wonderful. So this is a very unique hospital. There are not many hospitals like this in the world. Maybe there's one similar, but not as good as this one, nearby Tel Aviv in a town called Netanya. This is a hospital that was established by the vision of the father of this gentleman exactly 25 years ago,
is a community hospital designed basically to provide obstetrical services to the very fertile and flourishing community here. And now this establishment, we are delivering over about 12,000 deliveries a year. This is the
year. That's like 10 times World 3?
It's maybe even more than that.
More than that.
Maybe even slightly over 12,000.
This is the third
biggest OBGYN department in the country.
Right.
Now, the vast majority of the people that come here are, of course, from the community, but not necessarily from this community. They come from many other Orthodox settlements and communities in Israel. But the reputation that this service, that this department, it has such a reputation that many non-religious Jews come here to deliver. And it really fills us with pride and happiness. Now, there are some scientific things that I think should be mentioned. The average cesarean section percent in Israel is about 19%. Every 1 out of 5 women that enter in our labor and delivery department deliver by cesarean section. This is the average.
National.
There's the national. There are hospitals in this vicinity that the numbers reach up to 25%. There are places, let's say in São Paulo, part of the Olympic Games will take place there. About 70% of the women give birth by cesarean section.
For convenience of the doctors more than anything else. Here,
thank you. Was something that you didn't understand from what I said?
I'm translating.
How many here? How many here?
Is my English so bad?
How many?
I know it has to be improved. Are we rushing somewhere? Why? I'm heading there.
What is the percentage here?
Oh, good question. 9.5%. No such numbers in the world.
Right.
Maybe in Uganda. No such numbers in the world. Now, the reason for this is I think we are really conducting such medicine that does not exist anywhere, because having said that we have such a low number of cesarean sections, we do not have bigger percentage of complications.
Right.
And this is a measurable phenomenon, which indicates that other people are cutting too often and too much.
They're doing it by choice rather than necessity.
Correct. Now, we will deliver vaginally, occasionally breech presentations. We will give women the chance to deliver vaginally following a cesarean that they had in the past. We turn breeches from the tush down, turning, so the head is the presenting part. And great midwives, and I think wonderful doctors. They are wonderful as long as they are not interfering with the work of the midwives.
Can I ask you something? You
Sure.
mentioned before non-Jewish people coming here.
I guess that some managed to sneak.
From where?
I don't know. I have those
non-Jews?
statistics.
Arabs
I
or
don't.
what?
Can I answer?
cannot. Sure.
Okay. Because we are surrounded by Tel Aviv, Petah Tikva, it's we call Gush Dan, which is where you live as well. There are no Arab villages for miles around. So they will go to a hospital closer to them. So statistically, we have far fewer non-Jewish deliveries, only because we don't have a local population that would use. What we get from Givat Shmuel across the world, we get from Petah Tikva, we get from all over. And as Professor Leslie mentioned, somebody religious who wants to go to a religious environment will come from Jerusalem, Beersheba, like my granddaughter, and others all around the country because of the reputation they have here. So it's not a design, it's purely logistics and...
But you also have non-religious people.
Oh yes,
חדר לידה.
המיון, תראה את המיון, את הכניסה, חדר לידה, הפרדה של פרוזדור בעלים.
Two reasons to come: community and quality.
One reason, quality.
Professor, I'm sorry.
There is no captured audience. People do not. What's the rush?
No, we are
What's the rush?
we're on a schedule.
אנחנו יש לנו...
Professor, we also want to see.
Okay, so
Zmanim.
I'll
To
say
see.
only,
We
I'll
want
skip
to see.
one word and the sentence will be very short. There are no captive audience. Such a thing does not exist in this world. They come here because by choice. Okay, not because of the fact that they live nearby. You understand?
Yeah.
If this wouldn't be the best place for them, they would go to other places. And they have 3 mega hospitals by world standard. Mega hospitals with over 1,000 beds each. And they still come here for a reason.
And why are you here?
He invited me. For the emergency, obstetrical emergency. So the patients, they walk in. This is the triage and the assessment takes place in these rooms. So the doctors, they speak to them, they do all the things that has to be done, monitoring this and that. And if they're in labor, then being escorted to the labor and delivery floor. If not, so they either go home or being accepted to the prenatal department, or what we call the high-risk department. And this place where doctor sees, they have monitors, they have ultrasounds, and they of hospital for 20 years.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so this is the labor and delivery floor. And דוקטור, בשביל יש חדר ריק שאפשר להיכנס? אתה רוצה לבוא להראות לנו? We have 13 rooms in here. Each room is a small suite. Everything is being taken place in here. The spouses, everybody that escorts the woman, they can be with her. And they can either stay at the time of delivery or go out, depends on them and their beliefs. This is a labor and delivery suite. Everything is in here, down here, everything is here. Once, if something goes wrong and there is a necessity to operate upon her, so she's being taken to the operating room, which is about this exactly, I don't know, 20 feet from here. Now we have here a corridor. No, this is a corridor, we call it the spouses corridor. So they do not go, the husbands, let's say. They do not go through the main hall, not interfering to the personnel. But there is a corridor.
Well, that's what they'll be looking at.
Yeah.
So that's,
It's about roughly 1,000 a month.
Correct.
Delivery.
Correct.
which is incredible.
Last night we had 37, in the last day and night, how you call it?
Shift.
Last shift, whatever, we had 37.
I wanted to say that 1,000 a month average is 30 a day. It's
Yeah,
confirmed.
that's the average.
So
Correct.
if you want to come any day and stand in the entrance, you can say Mazel Tov about 30 times.
You can come in every day and say 30 times Mazel Tov.
Right. Mazel, this is my very good friend Andrew Goldman.
Hello, David Bryant.
Used to be from London, he lives now in Beit Shemesh.
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Don't worry about it.
But a very prominent contributor to our development. And
Great.
I
Nice
said,
to meet you.
Andrew will be here when the matter comes, I said fine.
Very happy to have you here.
And we have many of those.
Exactly. Very good.
Okay, so as we said, we have here 13 to the operating area. We have, if we continue, you'll find yourself going out of the hospital. Now we can,
נבוא לכאן.
לאן אתם רוצים להיכנס לחדר
כן,
פה?
רק עוד איזה שוב.
חדר התאוששות,
כן.
אוקיי. This is hospital very, very good. Here, but this is the recovery room. That's where the patients are being admitted for the procedures. Following the procedure, they're being kept here for a few hours. And patients that come for their surgery, Patients that come for day surgery are being admitted, being taken care in the operating room. Return here, and after 2 or 3 hours they're being discharged. Right. So after they're being examined. It's a community hospital. I mean, there are things that are comparable, but by and large, this is not a tertiary hospital. Community. This gentleman says he is the father of a child that was operated here. He just, I don't know who the person is, but he said that although there are 2 big hospitals in this area and he lives nearby, he decided to bring his child. He decided to bring his child here in order to.
Very good.
Okay, thank you. Good. You won't believe me that that it was prefabricated. I wish all of us good.
Okay, gentlemen. One of our staff, Dr. Advanat, the head of our cardiology unit and the head of this catheterization unit. Now you're the host.
Okay, this is our temporary, actually, cath lab. Right. I say temporary because we're going to move to the new building. Okay. We're very proud. Shalom. Shalom.
Nice to meet you, sir.
We're very proud to have it here. We've been operating it over a year. We're closing 800 catheterization, and we are actually prepared to give service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, including emergency cases, as was done last night by one of the cardiologists on call. And this morning we performed an angioplasty, an interventional procedure, and a diagnostic procedure, which we just finished. And this is a Philips equipment, which is, up to date, the top of the line equipment.
And typically, how many operations are you doing a day?
Well, it depends. We perform not too many. Pardon? Yeah, we can go. We do because we are surrounded by 3 giants, Bennington and Israel. So we're just fighting. But once we move to the new unit, we'll probably be more. How to say, more attractive.
What time is that happening?
Should happen January 2018.
Okay.
Well, we're building fast and we'll get there very soon.
And this is the equipment. You see, this is the table. This is very, very, you see that it moves whatever, because of course you see the angiogram is a 2-plane photograph, and the heart is a 3-dimensional organ, of course, and we have to take the images in different angles, different positions, and we are very, the new equipment enables you to do everything from here. And it's very, very easy. The patient lies here. This is an automatic injector of the contrast media. The whole principle of angiograms is very primitive. It's based on X-ray. There's no fiber optic, no lasers, no nothing. Simple X-ray fluoroscopy using contrast media, which is which the X-ray don't penetrate. That's how we get the images of the artery.
But what this has become is not just diagnostic, but it's also...
No, oh yes, of course. Well, the whole thing started some 60 years ago, the angiograms, by Mason Sones in the United States, and actually it all started by mistake. He was performing a cardiac catheterization, and up to that day it was considered completely forbidden to penetrate and inject into the coronary arteries, because it was believed that it caused ventricular fibrillation and cardiac arrest based on experimental studies in dogs. And by mistake, the catheter he was using, it was called on his name, Sones catheter, just while injecting into the aorta, it kind of went into the ostium, into the proximal part of the coronary artery, and an enormous amount of contrast media, 10 times as much as we use today, was injected in a very high pressure. Nothing happened to the patient, and suddenly he saw
much
fantastic view of the coronary arteries, and all the rest is history.
Right.
So we put in catheters, we put in...
and today, of course, we have the stents, which have which are very, very popular, and really have also been used now since 1987, so close to next year will be 30 years.
And we are blessed.
I was in Teleshomer for over 40 years, as you can see.
And because he is so young, he wanted Avenue now.
But I'm a local patriot now.
Who's Dr. Huerta?
He came.
We have a...
Thank you for visiting us.
Within the framework of the gynecology, and it's lid imaging, but when we were renovating this whole area, we found this extra room. We said, right, let's use it to personal and a bit to private. Mammography is obviously both of that. But we have actually done outreach, put in a mammography unit, and now all the women at Playboard are coming here to get checked out for breast cancer. Really brand new, and I'm wondering who's going to give us a little tour. Okay. That is it. It came directly from Philips. So we were very happy with Philips in the catheterization unit. So we were negotiated Philips and Siemens, and I think also one other company. And in the end,
How much is something like this cost?
Okay, we only got $1.5 million donation for it. It covered about 50% of the entire cost. The whole thing is, even the walls you see are very thick and they're magnetically reinforced to avoid any magnetic field going out. And my office is just above here, so I had to make sure.
Personal interest in making sure that's all.
Right. So the government were actually instrumental in helping us as well, and because the new minister, I'm sure you'll be meeting him, thinks that every hospital has to have an MRI. And so he was instrumental in encouraging. We got the donation for the main part of it, for the machine. The rest we had to either do ourselves, and we got a little bit of government support. But it was certainly something that we've been waiting to do, and thank God we have the right connections and we were able to succeed.
MRIs are used most typically
Okay. Sorry.
He's the chief technician.
Okay, excellent. So,
He would like...
ודאי, כן.
אתה או. He would speak in Hebrew and Chaim would translate it.
שהמכשיר הזה יעבוד 24 שעות.
It'll work 24/7, because once you've already got it and you use it, it makes more sense to work 24/7. And there is a waiting list today to have an MRI test, and this will alleviate the entire area.
When is it operational?
מתי זה מתחיל?
אנחנו מקווים שבחודש הקרוב
Yeah, hope by next month.
זה הרצה, לא, בחודש הקרוב זה הרצה, ואז אחרי זה אפשר להריץ את זה.
Okay, so they've already done all the tests on humans as well. There'll be a running in over the next month or so, and then we'll be open for the public.
September running in, October operation.
מכשיר חדש, הכי משוכלל שיש, כל הבדיקות שאפשריות ב-MRI אפשר לעשות על המכשיר הזה.
This does all the possible tests with the MRI system, so it's the state of the art, the best there is.
The most sophisticated.
זהו.
And what do you expect that the biggest demand will be? What kind of tests? What will...
איזה סוג צילומים יהיו הכי פופולריים?
בעיקר יהיה פה כנראה ראשים, מוחות נוירו ובדיקות אורתופדיות, אורתוגרפיות.
He said to neurological MRIs, brain,
Dr. Landa,
orthopedic.
our chair in London sends people to MRI. What typically would you send the MRI for?
Yes, I mean typically it is. Orthopedics is a big one. Neurology is the two main ones. But actually now they're doing a lot more MRIs of the body. You're now doing MRIs of the breast when you're doing breast screening. Right. So if your mammogram is abnormal, you would then do an MRI. In America they're doing MRIs and not doing mammograms now.
Right.
Ambassador, you allow me one question?
Yes, go.
בדרך כלל הבעיה של MRI זה הפחד הקלוסטרופוביה. פה ישנו קלוסטרופוביה? תראה לי, איפה?
כל המנהרה הזאת שהבן אדם נכנס אליה זה הקלוסטרופוביה.
אבל יש נפח כזה גדול. גם מזה?
יש MRI פתוח היום שנקרא ככה, אבל זה לא פתוח.
מה זה פתוח?
פתוח הוא המנהרה יותר מצומצמת.
מה זה נקרא מנהרה יותר?
כל החלק הזה שהבן אדם נכנס בפנים, כל העיגול, אז הוא יותר קטן. הוא יותר קטן ואין את החלק...
זה לא מרגיש כל כך.
אין את החלק העליון.
אבל הוא לא מספיק עוצמתי ויש הרבה בדיקות שאי אפשר לעשות עליו.
He says a lot of people would not take this test because of claustrophobia. Correct. There are machines which are already avoiding this, more open, but they are
limited in their scope.
This is at the expense of the strength of the machine. But this is claustrophobic.
What they do is they give you headphones and you can listen to any music you like and you relax.
They do things to prevent it and to...
But they're very expensive to maintain. I mean, obviously the capital expenditure.
זה חשוב מאוד שהבן אדם...
That's something actually...
בשביל זה קודם כל ילדים עד גיל 6-7 מורדמים
לגמרי?
לגמרי.
Children up to the age of 7
אבל הרדמה קלה.
הרדמה
כללית. לא קלה. כללית לגמרי.
אבל למבוגרים או נותנים מיליגרם אחד של value, או שנותנים גם כן איזה כזה טשטוש.
אם זה מאוד דחוף, אז כן, כי אסור לזוז בכלל בבדיקה.
טשטוש כמו בקולונוסקופי.
פה זה יותר קריטי, כי פה אסור שיזוז, יש פה קטע.
אז נותנים טשטוש.
Yes, I already answered.
Sorry, I missed the answers.
Okay, I'm going to
There's the site.
One you can now see from above. Cardiology, we have underneath 2 basement areas. For me, it's crucial because that's where I can park at the moment. But there's an infrastructure there for an emergency underground hospital, so that rocket protected. So now we're negotiating with the government of the Ministry of Defense. If they want us to do that, they're going to have to supply the resources, but it's available for them, and now we're negotiating with them to see what's going on there. The main floor on the engine floor will be all of cardiology, like we saw with the catheterization unit and the Dr. Argonat. There'll be also intensive care unit and emergency cardiology, so everything will be concentrated there. We've already built the infrastructure of another floor in order to add for internal medicine, geriatrics, and whatever we feel the community needs as the walls here expand, or rather they can't expand, so they're going to be using this building as well. They're already building the tunnel underneath to join the 2 buildings so that everything will be under one infrastructure. And behind that, where you see people watching us from their balcony there, that's the mental health unit. If you come across a little bit further, third floor down and the 4th floor, and that will be the entrance where the cars will come in. We hope to open that also by the end of this year, because the inpatients have already been authorized and licensed for adult men, adult women, children I think we'll be getting in a few months' time, and then we're transferring also the outpatient clinics and also the daycare centre over to there as well. Just to give a perspective back for the UK angle, the first thing that we did 2.5 years ago was to raise money for the mental health clinics, and last year our theme was the operating theatres. So thank God the monies we're raising in the UK are certainly helping.
It's a very significant capital development.
Huge, very, yes, it is. So we have donors all over the world that are giving us. But again, this has been after very lot of forethought of what the community needs. Right now you can see here the community is huge. I mean, that's Tel Aviv, so we're not that far away, and those who want to use this as opposed to the major centres where you may have to wait a bit longer, you won't get to see the top professors like we do here. And it's a more personal, we call ourselves professionals with our soul and heart, so they are getting a very personalised treatment, which is unique. So Bnei has its yeshiva and has its institutions, it also has population which is growing all the time. And that's why our maternity is already up to 13,000 a year. Our NICU is maybe 23 or 4 incubators we're issuing now. And it's bustling, but we are here for the community. That's our main thing, our main
פה אנחנו
area for the mothers who have just had their babies to be able to come out and enjoy the warmth of the community. We're also going to have an access road for the ambulances to come in from the main highway into the hospital, because as you see there are sometimes difficulties in moving around Bnei Brak in the car. And here you've got Givat Shmuel, which is a modern religious Orthodox area, and most of them are also coming to us now for their treatments all over the hospital, including the maternity. And because we are the centre of this whole area, and that's Petach Tikva over there, and there's Ramat Gan behind us, and you know, on a good day you can see as far as Modi'in, so it's very centralised.
Because we're only staying for 3 days, not 6 hours or 12 hours in England.
Yes,
we need it to any more beds.
We like to pamper them, we like to either or by definition, loss-making hospital, emergency room, internal medicine, because Beit Cholim are not giving us enough money to cover all those costs. The exception is maternity and everything to do with it, where the national insurance, Bituach Leumi, pays more than enough to cover the deficits of other departments. So we, like all hospitals, would like to expand their maternity. We've succeeded to the extent that we have a balanced budget in our entire operation.
So the maternity effectively subsidises emergency and other...
Right. So A, it's good for economics to make it attractive. B, it works. And the more births we have, the more happy we are, the more Jewish babies being born, plus the fact that it actually covers the deficit that we have. Okay. 3 beds, but very, very independent, plus these doors are open, right? So you've got privacy, you've got space for family to see, you even have a view of the next building going up. And it's, you know,
מיטות מלוניות, זה לא מיטות של חולים.
And these beds can come up electronically, so it's
they have to feel here like they came to a hotel. And that's
Waldorf Astoria, not סתם a hotel.
בירושלים או בניו יורק?
And because we're of the demand, we've just added this entire unit of another 40 beds, and it'll be full very quickly. And I have to think of where else to put a new one on it. Maybe the 6th floor. But it's no, it's an
very impressive.
Yeah, it is.
This is another 3 days.
No, Shlomo, a baby crying in my room. So if they are, they'll be put together. But most of the mothers will come here for the rest and have the baby looked after by the excellent staff here. These are all the healthy babies that don't have any need for any extra treatment. You'll see the ones in the intensive care unit A little later on. Right, yes, wonderful. This is wonderful music, absolutely. How do we know which is a boy, which is a girl?
Blue and pink.
Blue and pink, okay.
The blue. Oh, I see, right.
The pink background. So as I said earlier, we're averaging about 30 mazel tovs a day, which is that's amazing. It really gives us a fabulous mindset for the entire hospital.
So peaceful, summer.
You see, they've stopped crying. Dr. Daniel Lubin, please meet the ambassador. I'm fine. Oh, you know me, right? Yes.
Dr. Aramati.
That's Dr. Zewa Aramati, the head of the NICU.
Okay, you're now hosting the ambassador, and you've got exactly 7 minutes to tell us. But before you do that, Dr. Lubin.
Yes.
הרב יצחק שפירא.
שפירא, מאוד בדוקטור ארמתי, הרופאת שיניים.
גיסתי.
אני מכיר אותה כי היא שכנה של אסי שרון.
I think Shapiro knows more people in Israel than anybody else I've ever met. Okay, Dr. Lubin, it's your department, please.
Okay, that's our little nice NICU. We are treating every year almost 90 babies below 750 grams. And totally we have 300 babies with all kinds of malformation in intensive care with something like 6,000 days of hospitalization overall a year. We have good statistics, good results due to all kinds of interventions we are using. We are our nursing, the chief nurse is there, Janet Zucker. We are using a method which is called NITCAP, which is an individualized developmental care and assessment. And the babies are kept stressless as possible. Without heavy light. Don't wake them up because we know today that the stress hormones are causing lots of brain damage. They are blocking brain development. The growth factors of the brain are influenced by those stress hormones, and if you reduce stress, you have better results. And there are lots of secondary gains due to those metals that we have very low rate of infections. You can see the Minister of Health are forcing us to put a number in front of the eyes. So for everybody it's punishment, and for us we have 264 days without CLAPSI, which is a sertraline associated gut-stream infection. And in the previous cycle we had 365 days without infection, so it's not a coincidence. That's it's a very low rate of infection. And it's a very interesting story because it's due to less interventions. Don't touch them, don't puncture them, don't put an IV. You have to believe that they are healthier than you. And the unit is run by seniors. One of the problems all over the world that we have to use residents and NICUs. You look at the numbers, you understand that experience is a very strong.
How long have you been?
27 years, 25 years, and when you look at the baby, you can count on your assessment to say, well, this night that baby, the young physician wasn't she wanted to start an antibiotics. It's a 28-weeker. Well, according to the data, there was a good reason to start antibiotics, but according to our experience and ability, we avoid it. And now we know that we are right. With antibiotics, we have starvation, we have stop feeding, we have an IV line, which is it's entering point, and it's infection port of entry. So you immediately have those.
You start a vicious cycle.
A vicious cycle, and when you have the ability to reduce treatment or over treatment, you improve their outcome. So it's a very interesting story that when you have...
It requires a lot of confidence.
That's it. And
it's a mindset.
Yeah. And parents should be part of it. You have to be with very good connection with the population to explain that there is some risk, but you have something to gain, something to win. You understand, it's a very comprehensive situation. It's not just don't give antibiotics or give antibiotics. The mother is asking why not, and then you have to be with her. And she must have some confidence in your opinion, so it's a very complicated. We are treating very extreme situations because our population is a population that don't have any chance to, let's say, to abortions. So there are many. We had now half a year. We treated a baby that.
For half a year, 6 months.
4 months. 4 months. A baby that, when they make an ultrasound before labor, we understood that there is no way for him to live. And those situations are going to abortion. And he was born, and we treated him, and we gave him a chance. And we almost believed that we will be able to. At the end we fell, but 4 months he was here, and it's a baby that, it's above medicine, it's beyond the rules of the old scales of examination.
The treatment, because
the treatment it's not written everywhere. It's
such a rare case.
And we have several of those every year, and it's really amazing to see those situations. It's a very unique.
And how many? What's the typical number that you're treating at any one time? How many babies are you?
About 20 in our units. We are using the British SLE respirators.
Good to hear.
When you need to. When you need
to use them as less.
Yes, less and less. It's again very interesting the way British.
Just a check-up. It's not.
Mr. Ambassador, you will have the pleasure of listening to Dr. Devin downstairs for a few minutes. So.
Shall I have one question in English? Have you had cases where a typical abortion candidate was not aborted and you succeeded in it? Yes.
It's a weekly, almost it's a weekly.
You are succeeding.
Yes.
It's not always a failure.
Of course. A baby that was born like 600 grams, one of the twins, his brother was almost 2 kilos. Very large difference, and usually
survival.
Yeah, they survive.
More than
the rabbis. It was a very interesting story because the rabbis thought that they didn't believe he will survive. And then when we were told about the story, we told them we don't think you are all right. They thought that the little one is rodef to the big one. And I told the Rebbe, I think the big one is rodef to the little one. And then immediately she was operated, and they are both healthy. So it's
you know what is suitor.
It's called a steal syndrome. The big baby takes from the little one, so that one grows and this one, in theory, shrinks. But sometimes, as they found,
because there were 20 weekers, so the option was just labor, operator, and we'll have 2 babies, and we'll try to save them because 22 weekers we have very good results. So it was a very good decision, but it shows the dialogue with the rabbis.
The abortion is forbidden, but when it's 1 baby, when it's 2 babies, and one is considered being a threat to the other one, then the one who is producing the threat, he can be eliminated. But as the doctor said, he said that it's the other way around, and therefore who is the threat? And but the most important thing is it's unwritten medicine, because abortion is abortion, so there is no written medicine for babies who would have normally been aborted from abortion cases.
And they have hundreds of people alive today because of the system that says, you know what, if we can, we will. And I think we should be changing the name from intensive care to London. Okay, so this is some of our senior staff. This is Rabbi Yosef Hoffner, who actually speaks the English, not quite the Queen's English, but English.
From your old colony in the United States.
Right, Ambassador Kerry. Okay. This is one of our new rising stars, a young
Bikor.
Dr. Professor Ilan Bank, one of our recent acquisitions. Much better, right? No, this doesn't
And
look
I
good.
have
No,
a
you're
British
right.
passport I'd like to inform you.
Excellent.
Yes.
Very good. Okay.
My parents were South African.